Welcome to the Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this week's episode. Now, this week's episode is a little bit of a review, critique episode, I suppose. I'm not being critical specifically. Let's not get confused critique with critical. Critique is just offering an opinion on somebody else's work and the way that they've approached things. Now, this is Lauren Francis. She has a great YouTube channel, 27 or so thousand subscribers, so growing nicely. She does some brilliant stuff about building your brand and all those kind of things, so check her out. And thank you, Lauren, if you're watching this, for your wonderful videos. Now, in this particular video, she's doing some toning work. I like her approach, and I'm just going to give you another angle, a different way of thinking about it, so that we can have as much knowledge as humanly possible. Now, last week I asked everybody, what did they think of intros? Here I am doing an intro, so it clearly hasn't changed my mind for those of you that doesn't like the intros, but it was a kind of 50-50 split. In fact, lots of people do like the intros, but they like them to be short, concise and relevant to the video. So hopefully I can do it that way for you. Anyway, I like talking to you guys. I like telling you what's going on. And whilst we're on that subject, next Wednesday, I will be live again on my YouTube channel, and the following Wednesday, 9 PM GMT. And for my Patreons, I will be live on Monday. Coming up, I will be live the following Monday and the Monday after. This is a bonanza of lives for my Patreons and you, my subscribers. And a massive, massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed. We hit 40,000 subscribers this week. I never thought I'd get to 10, never mind 40,000. I'm genuinely blown away by the numbers and the views and people's comments and just all of that good stuff. So please, guys, keep that up for me. It really helps the channel, as I've said many times before. So on that note, on the concise front, trying to keep this as short as humanly possible. Have a wonderful week, and I shall see you again in the next one. So this is Lauren Francis hair. In this particular video, she's going to talk about toning and how she best deals with this, well, unfortunate situation. The clients ended up with very, very stripy root area, some bleeding gone on there, obviously, some definite areas that are over processed, some areas that are slightly under processed. She talks all about it in the intro, but I just wanted to kind of big up Lauren for her channel, and you know, well done you for keep plugging out. You know, I know how hard it can be to grow. So Lauren then takes on this job by damping the hair down. Now she's going to use Redken Shades EQ, but I wanted to discuss the by damping the hair down, what the difference is. So the hair is naturally 4.5 to 5.5 pH. And by spraying it with water, you're going to turn it into a pH of 7. Now, obviously, the hair's natural pH is now become alkaline comparative to the natural pH of the hair. So what we're going to see from this result now is a colour that's designed to go onto hair that's 4.5 to 5.5, but you're actually going to apply it to hair that has been turned more alkaline than the hair is naturally meant to be. So I did a little video a while ago about putting toners on wet, dry and soaking wet, sorry, towel dried, wet and dry. And the results were quite interesting. The video's on there. I'll link it at the end, actually, if you want to check it out. Onto the towel dried hair, so the hair was still a bit damp, there was definitely more colour deposit. Now that makes perfect sense because the colour molecules are going in faster and deeper and penetrating the hair more because of the simple fact that the cuticles are already raised by the water, because you've put something on the hair that is more alkaline than the hair. So I hope you followed that, but by putting onto wet hair, you'll probably get more colour deposit. Now she says she's doing it as well to make the transition you know, from the blend more fluid, easier to do. I get that to a degree. Obviously I do tone wet hair, but we need to know why we're doing it and what the benefits are. That kind of, you know, there are always going to be trade-offs. Either way around there's going to be trade-offs, and we kind of need to know what those trade-offs are going to be. Now, by putting onto dry hair, I think we do get more longevity from the colour, in my personal opinion. She processes this for quite some time. We'll talk about that later in the video. But look, the thing about these type of techniques is that, yes, we've all got our personal style, and if we're happy with that personal style, then I'm not here to kind of interject or interfere. I'm just telling you the options. So let's get on with the video.
You guys, even though I didn't do this service that gave her this result, I want to just let you know that everybody makes mistakes. So if you accidentally leave spots and streaks in the hair, I want to just empower you to feel confident fixing it for your clients.
Nice little touch there from Lauren, just saying about, you know, we all make mistakes and it's really important to fix them as soon as we can. And that's so true, guys. Never let your client walk out the door, if you can wholeheartedly avoid it, without acknowledging your mistakes. At least try and get them to come back in as soon as humanly possible. If not, fix it right there and then. It will make all of the difference to how that client perceives you. Look, I've done it, even recently. Dinner colour, got a little bleed in the nape, told my client, put a little root shadow on, Bob's your uncle, everyone's happy. But if you didn't say that and she spotted it, she may never come back. She might go somewhere else. She's certainly not going to be happy. So just put your hands up and it's okay. You know, mistakes are okay, providing we own them. So Lauren's going to start her technique now, obviously onto damp hair. And she's going to use Redken Shades EQ, as I said earlier. She uses 6N in a shot glass, which is, I like the idea of measuring in a shot glass. I mean, as long as there's a shot in it once it's been cleaned, I'm up for that. And then she uses 6GI, and obviously that's a gold iridescent tone that she's putting in there, and she's mixing it with the processing solution, the gel processing solution. Obviously she wants a creamier consistency for a root stretch, and I think that's probably bang on the money in terms of, you know, creating these type of techniques. The GI is obviously there to stop the N looking muddy and, you know, dingy, and that, I think that's a great call there. A little touch of 6GI she put in there. She's going in with her root stretch in the back here. She's using her comb to drag down that root stretch. Using a vertical comb, I prefer to tilt my comb slightly towards me. Any excess then just gathers on the top of the comb and we don't have to worry about it printing on the hair. Now she starts about here because that's where the hair colour that was done previously starts. But you'll note that she's dragging it past the occipital bone, which is super duper important. Now she's done the back and she's moved on to the sides. And the side sections, instead of dragging it right down, she's just doing like a root shadow, like a sort of 1.5 centimetre root shadow through these sections. And I think this is a great call actually, because the front sections are much better applied to a degree. Obviously there is still a little bit of bleeding in there, but not anywhere near as bad. She's left out that front hairline to retain the money piece, because around the front hairline, actually, you know, the colour's okay, and she wants to keep that brighter colour around the face. So, you know, I totally get where she's going. There is still bleeding throughout of this top and side sections, but, you know, it's not quite as bad as it is in the crown area. It still needs correcting, obviously. So, good call, I think, actually, changing her tune a little bit here, and coming onto the sides and just doing that slightly shorter root stretch. It's actually something I've never done. I've never thought about doing. I always do my root stretches the same front and back, but I'm going to take this one with me because I think that's a good call from Lauren here. And just having that slightly shorter root stretch in the top area, it's going to look good. Well, we'll soon find out, because she paints her way through these sections in no time at all. So she's finished the technique now. She's put her kind of 1.5 centimetre root stretch on. She come in, she just teased it down with the comb there. Only in the parting though. Not quite sure why she did that specifically. But what she's going to do now is go and put in some dimension. So she's going to use her root colour and blend that into a 7N. So she's going to feed that 7N down and smudge it into the 6N and the 6GI. Now, I'm not sure if he's just using 7N, but I would be inclined to put a little bit of, you know, gold in with that N if you already did it previously. She didn't mention it in the video, so I'm going to assume that she's just used 7N. And she's basically going back now and putting in the dimension. So she's taking about a 1.5 centimetre or so section. She's taking a slice of hair and she's dragging it further down. And that's just going to create highs and lows within this look. I must say, I particularly like this setting that they're in, you know, house, doing a bit of home hair, just filming it. Dads are in the background playing with the shirt. I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm going to do my videos with my kids in the background from now on, I think. And then in a minute, she's even got her husband, I'm assuming, holding the sections for her. So that is fantastic. Good on the husband for being so, you know, involved. Daddy daycare and apprenticed all in one. But simple premise here, guys. You know, I'm joking about the family scenario, but, you know, it does add to the video in my eyes. I don't know what you think. You might not think it adds to the video. So she's gone through the technique. She's put the dimension back in, 1 centimetre sections, nice fine slices. Then she takes out her foils. Now, she said at this point that she's allowed it to process for 20 minutes. So that's the development time by the manufacturer's guidelines. Once she's removed all her foils, she's going to go in and she's really going to comb it through. Now, if you've seen any of my root stretch videos, you'll see that I go in and comb my sections down straight away. So I go glossy at the root, I go satin in the mids and matte towards the ends, and I'm looking for that transition to know that I've got a perfect blend. So she does her dimension, then she goes back in, combs it, and then once she's combed it, she then just leaves it to process for another 10 minutes, she says in the video. So I'm assuming that she's actually had this root colour on for 30 minutes. Now, that's 10 minutes longer than the manufacturer recommends. However, with lots and lots of experience of these type of techniques, sometimes you do just need a little bit more time to let the colour deposit, especially into those areas on the crown where, you know, you've got those strong blobs of colour and you really want to eradicate them. You don't want to see any translucency, but you do want to use Redken Shades EQ, because Redken Shades EQ does offer a very translucent end result. So to a degree, I'm absolutely with her here. I always try and avoid breaking the manufacturer's guidelines just because, you know, for insurance purposes, but she gets the job done, so can't argue with that. Now, once she's allowed it to process, she's told her client to go and shampoo and condition her hair, ready to glaze the ends and the whole thing, basically. She's using Redken Shades EQ 9P, which is a blue-violet shade, a very, very soft blue-violet shade at that. Not a lot of depth, not a lot of tone in 9P. If you've never used it, it's very subtle, very pretty. I've always been inclined when I'm using the P shades just to put like a tiny bit of warmth in with them, just so that we don't get any of that kind of murkiness on such blonde hair. Just 2 drops of like 9G or 9AA, just to ensure you keep that nice, beautiful, bright blonde. In this instance, she has got quite a lot of warmth present in the hair, in most areas of the blonde, so I can see why she's just gone in with it straight, but there is some really, really light areas in there that I'd be hesitant to use 9P all on its own on. But she smashed it. Lauren, great video. Love it, love it, love it. You have transformed this lady's hair from what was a bit of a disaster into something that looks absolutely knockout. So if you're watching this, great job. Keep going. I'm really enjoying watching your corrective tutorials, and she's got some fantastic content on there about building your brand and all those kind of things. So go and check her out. Have a wonderful week, and I shall see you in the next one.